So tonight, I thought we'd start with autumn, seeing as it feels very autumny here on the Gold Coast. And autumn season is known as the Vata season. And it's said in Ayurveda that what happens in the microcosm happens in the macrocosm. So quite often we can look to nature as a reflection of what's happening with our own physiology and our own personal experience of our daily life and environment. And what you might notice with the autumn season is that there is more dryness, there's more wind, and trees, because of this dryness and the lack of juiciness and moisture, the trees lose their leaves. Things start to bark gets quite dry, rivers dry up a little bit, and this creates actually more space in the atmosphere. So if you look at a nice full leafy tree, you can't really see through it. It's very occupied by structures. Same with when the rivers are full, there's lots of elements filling the atmosphere. But yeah, autumn is that season where there is this openness and spaciousness. And what it can feel like for us too, if you imagine that bare tree standing there with the wind and the cool air constantly against it, it's this kind of vulnerable feeling. And you kind of feel like, okay, maybe that's a little bit of what we naturally start to experience as we shift into autumn, that you might just feel a little bit like, oh, I want to just stop for a moment and let go of a few things, or all this stuff that I'm carrying, or all these things that I was busily doing, rightly so, through summer, doesn't feel right all of a sudden. So we kind of take a moment and we feel a little bit more perhaps intuitive, a little bit more internal, and a little bit more like we want to let go. And it can start to feel a little bit vulnerable as well. And so it's just completely natural. So the one thing that I love learning about how the seasons kind of affect us as well is that when we have these natural shifts in our moods and transitions throughout the year, when you understand that that's just normal cyclical nature in our physiology, it's like, oh, I'm not having a mood swing. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not depressed. I'm not being antisocial. This is just the time of the year. And every cycle, every season has its purpose as well for helping us shift, say, from those hot, busy summer months to now starting to wind down into a bit more rest, a little bit more internalizing after we were perhaps a little bit more extrovert. And this season too, with all of this happening, with the vulnerability, with more space in our lives as well, and with that letting go, it is a really nice time to practice pratyahara, which is withdrawing the senses from the external world and dropping into a more internal space, focusing on our spiritual practices, just getting kind of cozy with our yoga and spiritual life. So when we can understand those transitions too, I just feel like it's like so logical, and it gives you like a really clear understanding of, oh, this is what I can engage in this month, and this term or season, and it'll feel quite natural and organic, and will actually help you to recover and replenish from the busyness of summer and the heat. You start cooling off a little bit, and then the cool thing is when you travel from autumn into winter, there is a little bit more hibernation, a little bit more restore. We consume more fats, and then going into spring, the moisture comes back into our lives, into our bodies, into our environments again. So it's just this beautiful natural flow round and round. It's really quite incredible when you look at it. It's so simple. And when you start paying attention to it, it's like, this makes so much sense. So, and it's really empowering to learn about. So in saying all of that, just on a physical level, our practice can offer us some moistening of our tissues. So actually trying to stimulate synovial fluid production, getting our joints moving, bringing heat into our tissues as well to take the edge off that coolness. And it is just a really nice time where you've got that internalized focus in a really constructive mode of goodness manner as well. So it might be a time where you can look to not just your physical practice, but also finishing it off with some spiritual practice, or taking in some yoga wisdom as well to add that sense, or to add some literal spiritual nourishment, and to make the most of this insightful time of the year. So without further ado, let's begin. Sitting comfortably, we're going to sit down, hips rooted to the floor, hands comfortable on your lap. Take a deep breath in, lift through your spine, and exhale. Keep lifting through your spine as you soften your shoulders down away from your ears and close your eyes. So we can already here start practicing withdrawing our senses. So doing that by just taking a bit of stock of what you can hear around you, the feeling of the air around you and on your body. And just starting to draw in and away from that. Bringing your awareness to your body. And anchoring into the sensations of your body. And just making a pact with yourself here at the beginning of your practice that whatever's going on externally can stay out there, taking a break for an hour or so, to turn within to support and nourish your body and your mind. Just take some time out for a little mantra and spiritual nourishment. My spiritual teacher always reminds us when we're engaged in our spiritual practice, don't worry about any of that stuff you got going on. I promise you, it'll be there when you get back to it. It's not going anywhere. It's just so important to stop for an hour, stop for 90 minutes. Everything will be there waiting for you when you get back. So taking this time for yourself. Really just letting go into your legs. Feeling gravity drawing your legs and hips down toward the earth beneath you. Soften into your belly. Soften into your chest, your shoulders, your arms, wrists, and hands. Your spine is still gently lifting. Your face is soft. Now bringing your awareness to your breath. Starting by noticing the structures in your body, your nose, your throat, your lungs, that help to facilitate this action of breathing. Just noticing that gross element of the action of breathing. The engagement through your nose, the feeling of the breath traveling down your throat, the expansion of your belly, your lungs, your ribs. Now gently shifting your awareness to the subtlety of the breath itself. Seeing if you can tune into the subtle air as it travels in through your nose, down your throat and into your lungs. And notice how the more you let go of awareness of your external environment, and the more you relax and tune into your breath, how the breath becomes easy. And the more you breathe, the more you relax, and the more full your breath becomes. Just taking 3 more rounds of full, deep breathing. And transitioning from here into Goranga breathing for 5 rounds. Emptying out your lungs, exhale. Take a deep breath in. And say the sound. Goranga. Inhale. Goranga. Keep going. Goranga. Goranga. One more time. Goranga. Return to your regular breathing pattern. And in the spirit of turning within, just doing a little self-check-in internally, pausing for a moment of reflection, and setting an intention for your practice today. My intention for my practice today is to feel calm and cozy. Autumn vibes, my favorite season. All right, so now coming into, if you're not already, a seated posture. Hips are nice and glued to the earth. Sitting up nice and tall, lots of length through your spine. I'm just going to spin around for the video. Lifting up nice and tall, walk your hands forward. And press your hips into the floor as you continue to reach forward with your upper body, lengthening into your fingertips, lengthening through your spine, and carefully lower your head down. So you've got a two-way lengthening happening from the hips and the lower back down, and from the midline area, sort of base of your ribs up to your neck, your fingertips, lengthening forward. And slowly walk your hands up. And from here, taking a side reach up and over. Right hand drops to the floor, reaching up and over with your left arm. Trying to keep your hips and shoulders stacked as you side bend to the right. And now left hand to the floor, reaching up with your right arm, reaching over to the left. Grounding down through your right hip. Inhale. Left hand to the right knee, right hand planted behind you as you turn to look over your right shoulder. Soften through your belly. Pressing against your knee to help lift and rotate around through your spine. And come back to center and change sides. Right hand to the left knee, left hand planted behind you. Soften through your belly and press against your left knee, turning to look over your shoulder. And come back to center. Beautiful. Taking one more little stretch in this position. Just dropping your chin down. I'm going to be careful not to go Darth Vader into the mic, but chin down toward your chest and simply roll down through your upper body until you feel a nice stretch through the back of your head and neck.
You might drop down, 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 or just try and sink back into your belly. And then go into a little bit of a sway. This is really looking at my side angle. Bit of a dorky position. But from here, making like a pendulum with your head and upper body and just getting a nice stretch through all that tightness through the back of your neck, your traps, tops of your shoulders, and then slowly press up. Take one full breath. Turn within, and to catch the insights, we've got to slow down. So that's what's happening here. All right, I'm also going to do this from side on, just because I'm going to be demonstrating some arms that you need to see from behind. We're going to go into cow face pose. So you take your left leg under, right leg over the top. Your hips come to the floor and your feet are either side of your hips with your knees stacked on top of one another. If that's too strong, take a block or a bolster under your hips, and that'll just give you a bit more space in these hip areas, which might get a little bit tight. So starting by lift and lengthen, and taking hold of your toes and drawing against your feet, nice and long through your spine. Then walk your hands forward and fold forward over your legs. Being mindful that it can get quite strong. Staying here for a few breaths. Now inhale, walk the hands back up. At any time, if this is feeling like you've had enough, just come back into an easy sitting posture. We'll take the left arm under, right arm over the top. Intertwine the forearms. The modified version is to bring the backs of the hands together. Full version, wrap the forearms around so that your palms can come to touch. Lift and lengthen. Raising the arms up to feel a stretch through your shoulders. And then we're going to drop down into cow face pose, where you lower the arms down and fold forward. Anchoring your hips down. One more breath here. Inhale. Reach up and release. Take a shoulder roll and forward. And just as an easy opener through the chest, taking hold of your elbows behind your back, and your hips should be starting to yield a little bit now and open. Just going to take a couple of breaths here. Maybe drop your chin down toward your chest. Slowly release. And we're going to change sides with our legs. I'm going to do my twirl, but you can just take your right leg under if you like. If you want to do the twirl, hands over to outside of your left hip, pressing down into your hands, lift onto the balls of your feet and spin. Lower the hips down. I think some of you guys nailed this at the recent intensive. So okay, so now we've got the left knee stacked on top of the right. Being mindful that one side might be tighter than the other, using any blocks, bolsters, adjustments, modifications that you need to. Taking hold of the feet, set yourself up with a nice long spine lift and walk the hands forward. Keep pressing the hips down as you fold forward over your legs. And inhale, walk your hands up. This time we take the right arm under, the left arm over the top. Twirl the forearms, bringing the backs of the hands together, or wrapping them right around each other to bring your palms together. And inhale, raise the arms up for a nice stretch. Hips are grounding down. If you're feeling any intensity there, just keep trying to tell your body, relax through the hips, let go through the hips. And exhale, fold forward, lowering your arms down, lowering your upper body forwards. into cow face pose. Gomukhasana. You keep breathing. I'm retaining my breath so that I don't Darth Vader into the microphone. And one more breath here. Slowly start to unravel and release. Take a moment just to release your hips before we go into another quite a strong hip and twisting posture. So just taking some windscreen wipers in between poses. Come back to center. Take the right leg under and the left foot over the top. Pressing your left foot into the floor, sitting up nice and tall. Rotating around, wrapping your elbow or taking your elbow to the outside of your knee, opening up through your palms and turning to look over your shoulder. And staying here for a few breaths. Soften through your belly as much as you can. And on an inhale, expand and lift through the chest, lift through your spine. Come back to center. Change sides. Could have been a 12 then, but no, I don't want to get dizzy. I don't want anyone to get dizzy. All right, so now we've got the right foot over the left leg. Wrap the elbow or place it to the outside of your knee. Plant your hand behind you and slowly start making your way into the twist. Nice open palm, strong lines of energy through your palm and fingertips. And feel that lift and expansion through all the joints in your spine, lifting, lengthening, reaching, and opening through your chest. Slowly release. And come over onto all fours. Take a child's pose, extending out into your arms, reaching into your fingertips. Bring your forehead to the floor. And look between your hands to slide your chest and your belly to the floor. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows working into your ribs, forehead to the floor. Reach back into your toes. Inhale, press into the floor. Going through our warm-up Cobra series. So lifting with your breath, lowering, exhaling. Warming up our spine, getting ready for sun salutations. Doing one more. Inhale. Exhale. Knees to the floor. Press back. And lift up through downward dog. Take a little warm-up downward dog here. Lifting and lowering your heels. Checking your hands, spreading your fingers and thumbs nice and wide. Press the floor away. Take a lift through the heels. Inhale. Exhale. Lower your heels down toward the floor. And look between your hands, walking your feet forward to meet your hands. And lift through your belly, bend through the knees, folding forward. Inhale, slide your hands up your shins, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Curl the head in. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold forward. One more time, inhale. Exhale, fold, maybe straight legs. And rolling up one vertebra at a time. Head is the last to come up. And stepping to the front of your mat, grounding down through your feet, shoulders down away from your ears, lift through your spine. Bring your hands together in prayer position, and we'll practice 3 rounds of sun salutations, remembering to modify as needed. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Jump or step back into plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Inhale into upward dog. Exhale into downward dog. Setting yourself up. Press the floor away, holding this position for 3 breaths. On your next inhale, raise the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Back knee to the floor, flatten your back foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back into plank. Lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Drop the back knee down, flatten the back foot, reach up. Exhale. Step back into plank, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Looking between your hands, jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Jump or step back. Lower straight down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Holding for 3 breaths. Inhaling. When you're ready, raise the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back and lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Step back into plank, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Looking between your hands and jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale. One more round, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold, jump, or step back into plank and straight down to chaturanga. Inhaling up. Exhale, downward dog. Hold. Keep breathing naturally. Scoop the belly, lift into your hips, press the floor away, lengthen your heels down toward the floor. Inhaling, raise the right leg. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, lower down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale. Step it through. Inhale. Reach. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Step back, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale. Downward dog. Looking between your hands, jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back.
Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking a mini pause. Opening your palms forward, feeling into the soles of your feet. Feeling that connection with the earth beneath you. Feeling the warmth in your tissues. Inhale. We'll flow through a standing sequence now, bringing your hands together in prayer position. Reach the right foot back, toes reach for the floor. Spin the back foot down at 45 degrees, coming to warrior one. So remember, 45-degree back foot angle is optional. You can open it out wider if you like. If warrior one feels uncomfortable today, just come into a high runner's lunge. And lifting through that back inner arch, back legs nice and active. Drop down into that front leg and try to keep your hips stacked above your shoulders, guys. Shoulders stacked above your hips. And once you're comfortable in that foundation through your legs, raise the arms up, shoulders down away from your ears. I'm going to stay here for about five to 8 breaths. So just taking your time to settle in. Often when we stay in a pose for say 3 or 5 breaths, it's enough to kind of coordinate everything and get there. And then it's time to move on again. So by staying in the pose a little bit longer tonight, it just gives us more space, more openness, more time to either just let things settle and enjoy being completely present in what we're doing, or be to explore maybe things going on internally, your mental, emotional landscape. Exhale. Hands to your heart center. Swivel the back foot around, stepping that back foot forward. Hands to heart center again, reaching the left foot back. Toes to the floor. Spin the back foot down, wherever it feels comfortable. And get grounded through your legs. Lift through the back inner arch, and that helps to activate through your back leg. And there'll be a natural bit of rotation through your hips. That's completely fine. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, soften down into that front leg. And scoop in through your belly and reach up into your fingertips. And settling into this position. One more full breath here. Hands to heart center. Shift your weight forward, step the feet back together. Hands to prayer. Step the right foot back. This time, rotating the upper body around for warrior two. Opening up your feet, so separating them quite wide apart. And align in the middle of your front foot. Middle of your front foot. The heel of your front foot. The middle of your back foot. And shoulders stacked above your hips, reaching the arms out at shoulder height. And pressing down into that back foot to help create some weight transfer from the front leg. And lifting the ribs right up out of the waistline again, just to create some lift and weight transfer all through the body so that you're not completely riding on that front leg. I'm getting ready to switch sides. Swivel the back toes forward and step the feet back together. Change sides, reaching the left foot back, adjusting your feet, heel aligned with the middle of your back foot. Already start playing with that experience of, notice how when you really press into that back foot, it naturally activates your back leg and draws away from this front thigh. So nice and active through the back leg, settling down into the front thigh, reaching out into your arms, turning to look just in your right fingertips.
One more breath here. And exiting the pose, spinning the back foot around, shifting your weight forward. All right, one more standing pose here. Stepping the right foot back. I'm going to spin around because we're going to do triangle pose. So right foot back and both toes facing forward, turning the right toes out to point. The left toes come in slightly, firming through your thighs, lifting the kneecaps and stretching your arms out at shoulder height. Slide the hips over to the left. Keep reaching and lengthening through your right side body. So it's almost, I always like to turn my palm up when I go into triangle pose because it helps to elongate through that side body, and then soften your hand down to your shin, ankle, or block and float the top arm up. Taking your gaze just beyond your top fingertips or down to your lower ankle. Keep lifting through that front thigh. One more breath here. Inhale, soft bend through your front knee, reaching up through the top fingertips, using your side body, lifting through the core. Bring the right toes in, the left toes out. Inhale. Set yourself up first. No rush. And taking the hips over to the right, reaching out over to the left. Reach, reach, reach. And float the hand down. Raise the right arm up, turning to look up beyond your fingertips or down to your lower hand. The core is nice and active, navel drawing in, lifting up out of that lower hand. One more breath. Soft bend through the front knee, lift up. Bring both toes around to point. And then we're going to step forward to the front of our mat. Open your palms forward. Tadasana. One more full breath here. Now staying at the front of your mat if you like, or I'm going to step back. We're going to go into a long hold, standing forward fold. Inhaling, feet are hip distance apart, pressing down into the soles of your feet and lift through your inner arches. Modified version is to bend through your knees as we fold forward. Inhale, reach up. Gently squeeze through your buttocks, hinging through the hips, navel drawing in. Reaching, reaching, reaching through your fingertips. And exhale as you come forward, bringing your upper body down toward your legs. Try and keep your hips stacked above your heels, so weight is in the toes and the forefoot, and then gently press the heels down. Let's start with a nice relaxed variation first, where you cradle your elbows in your hands and just let your head hang heavy. Maybe start to scoop the belly up and in, lift through the kneecaps and the thighs. One more full breath here. Inhale. Hands to the floor, fingertips to the floor, moving into a flat back, opening up for a moment, just taking a little mini rest as we continue to half hang forward. And then coming into a more active forward fold, either hooking the first two fingers around your big toes and drawing your upper body in, or taking hold of your ankles, or a belt around the soles of your feet. And then folding forward, actively drawing your upper body in, and head is moving in toward your shins. Or maybe even in contact, belly to the thighs, forehead to the shins. We'll stay here for about another 5 breaths. And we'll slowly come out of the pose, hands to the floor again into a flat back, half lifting out of the pose. Turn your toes out and just adjust your heels so that they're right under your hips. And we're going to lower down into garland pose. Malasana. Letting your hips be heavy. And then bring your elbows into your knees, hands to your heart center in prayer position. Just gently opening up through the hips by pressing your upper arms and elbows into your knees. Palms are pressing together. Thumbs are pressing into the sternum. And see if you can feel your hips dropping down toward the earth, but simultaneously lengthening upwards into your spine, your neck, into the crown of your head. And slowly release. Hands to the floor, hips to the floor. Bring the soles of your feet out in front, taking a little windscreen wiper set to release through your back, your hips, and give your feet a little rest. All right, moving into seated postures now. Legs out in front. All right, so we've already warmed up in standing forward fold, so it should feel quite natural moving into a seated forward fold. But starting in staff pose first, and then walk your hands forward, belt around the soles of the feet, or first two fingers hooked around the big toes. Taking your time, and just slowly moving into a relaxed, but also applying a little effort, relaxing any parts of your body that don't need to be activated. And practicing that drawing in of the senses. Sometimes that process of letting go, we shed physical things, gross things. And then after we've shed as much of those tactile, physical things, we start to then go, what else internally do I need to let go of? Could be a grudge, could be an ambition, desires, expectations, all kinds of stuff that we don't even realize we hold on to. So taking some time to let go, clear, create space is kind of what allows us to notice those things. Combined with our spiritual practices, giving us the insights and the empowerment to let go. Inhale, slowly come up. And we'll bring the right foot in. We'll go into head to knee pose, and then we'll move from there into a revolved version or variation. I don't know how it's going to show on the video. Inhale with the right foot in, fold forward over your left leg. Staying here for a few breaths. And then for the revolve variation, taking hold of the side of your foot with your left hand. And then also there's a few different ways you can do it. So you just I like to just feel into what my body feels like it needs, because it kind of targets different areas of your side body, ribs, and then through the spine as well. So sometimes just depending on how your body's feeling that day, different approaches can feel more appropriate or nicer. So you can start by holding to the outside edge of your foot and just really dropping down into this left forearm and start to draw against your foot as you turn to look up and under your upper arm. And all the while your hips are grounding down. Another variation is to so this is forward. Revolved is to spiral that lower rib cage through, floating the arm up and over. So that's a much more open variation. Inhale, come up and change sides. Extend out through the right leg, bring the left foot in. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward for 5 breaths, and then move into a revolved variation. Just nice, deep yogic breathing. When you're ready, transitioning to the revolve position, holding the outside edge of your foot and dropping the forearm down as you turn to look up under your arm. Keep drawing back against that foot so you're flexing strongly through that foot, or forearm down, and then inhale, lift up and over. Slowly release. Lifting yourself up. Take your legs out in front. And then come down to lay on your back. Hug your knees into your chest. We're going to take one little mini shavasana here, just for 5 breaths before we start moving into working into our spine. So just taking a bit of time here, allowing all the work that we've just done start to assimilate in your body. Resting your spine, nervous system for a moment. All right. Moving into bridge pose. Bring the soles of your feet to the floor, hip distance apart. Arms down alongside your body, palms down, shoulders down away from your ears. And start to tuck the tailbone and lift up, raising into make an angle of your body. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Do 3 more lifts in that way. And seeing if you can lift a little higher each time. Now this time we'll lift all the way up and then go into the full pose, interlocking your hands underneath your body. Rolling your shoulders in toward each other, press down into the forearms and raise your hips up. Holding here for about 10 breaths. So really practicing that balance of effort and surrender. And lifting up as much as you can. And pressing into your feet, pressing into your forearms. Shoulders are nice and firm in the floor. And lifting through your sternum, chest is moving in toward your chin. Relax into your mind, your face. Staying with your breath, squeeze your buttocks and keep lifting. Lifting for 2 more breaths. Slowly unravel. Release the hands, unravel your shoulders, and then lower your spine to the floor, 1 vertebra at a time. Rest completely. And hug your knees into your chest. And as you hug your knees into your chest, lengthen your tailbone down toward the floor. Beautiful. We're going to go from here over into plow. So lifting up. If you like to just go straight from here and kick your legs over into plow, please go ahead. I always like to go up through bridge because it takes you halfway and then it's easy to kick over from there. But go ahead and lift up and taking your legs over. So plow can look very different for different bodies. Lifting up, holding your hips. Try and get nice and lifted through your spine. Modified version is to bend through the legs first. Get the hips, get the hips stacked above your shoulders. Lower your knees down toward your head. And then straighten the legs as much as they will allow. And then the full expression is to really lift and lengthen through the legs. Knees are straight, coming right onto your toes. And try and lift through the hips. Firm through the legs and nice and active. Two more breaths here. When you're ready, slowly release, reversing out of the pose. Take a mini shavasana. Now carefully roll over, flipping over onto your belly. The Sphinx pose, moving on up into upward bow. Elbows are underneath your shoulders, palms open, pressing into the floor. Inhale, lift up and look forward. So we've had quite a lot of contraction and closure through our throat and chest. So now we're opening up through the collarbones. And as you take your gaze upwards, notice how it opens up through the throat. And keep reaching back into your toes. Slowly lower down. Turn your head to one side. Take a breath. Okay. We'll slowly make our way up into upward bow. So start by bringing your heels in toward your buttocks. Take hold of your feet. Press your hips into the floor and press your heels into your hips. Get a nice firm grip of your feet at this point. And walk your hands down to take hold of your ankles. Now we're not going to lift the hips or legs yet. Your legs stay on the floor. But inhale, look up. And start practicing an active lift through your chest. And getting your upper back working and lower down. Now really get a nice firm grip of your ankles, flex your feet, and we'll start to lift through the hips, lift the legs, lift through the hips, lift the legs, feel your glutes activated, raise your head, raise your chest, and start sending your feet upwards. And if you can do a little digestive system rock massage. Or simply hold. And exhale. Lower down. Keep holding your ankles, turning your head to one side. And getting ready, we'll go up one more time. Taking your time to go up. Noticing all the sensations along the way on your journey into upward bow. So start lifting, pressing the feet up. Feel your glutes starting to activate. And feel your chest and shoulders working. Take your gaze up. Keep breathing. And exhale. Turn your head to the opposite side. Carefully release your feet and your ankles. And relax. All right, come head back to center, hands to the floor. We're going to take a nice long and luxurious child's pose for 10 full breaths. So sitting on your heels. And if you would like to take a prop here, go ahead and maybe lay over a bolster, block underneath the head, however you like. Forehead to the floor, arms alongside your body. Just feel everything getting heavier and heavier. And continuing to exist in this protective bubble of our practice. A little bit aloof from everything that's going on externally. Just really anchored here and now with our breath, taking care of our body, having nice association with our yoga friends, and just taking time out. One more full breath here. And then hands to the floor and press yourself up. We're going to do legs up the wall now.
I'm going to use my bolster for this. So if you'd like to use a bolster, it feels really nice under the hips. And you can take the bolster right to the edge of the wall, placing your hips on top of the bolster and then your legs up. If that feels a bit uncomfortable in your lower back with that extension through the spine, just, yeah, ditch the bolster. So it's only just a little bit awkward getting in there. Once you're in, legs up. And depending on your hips, you can have your feet a little wider apart if that's more comfortable. Legs to the wall. And just allow your arms to fall naturally out to the sides, feet fall out to the sides. We'll stay here for about a minute or two. So about 10 breaths at least. Enough time for you to kind of just not tune out, but tune in. Really forget about everything, forget about your breath. Not even drawing in away from the sensations in your body and just really dropping in. All right, getting ready to exit this pose. Bend the knees and slowly roll over to the side. I'm coming to finish up now with some spinal twists before we get ready for Shavasana. Taking your right knee over to the left side of your body. I'm going to go into a very relaxed spinal twist because we've done quite a bit of twisting already. So instead of reaching my arm back, which you're welcome to do, I'm just going to lay both my hands on top of my thigh, softening through your belly. Just letting it be nice and gentle. And when you're ready, making your way over to the other side. Taking your knee across your body toward the floor, hands resting on top of your thigh. And relax through your neck and shoulders. Slowly release. Bend through the knees, feet to the floor, gently rock your knees from side to side, releasing through your spine, releasing through the lower back and sacrum.
And now is your time to have a couple of minutes to kind of take any last little stretches that your body might be craving. Maybe something simple like hip circles. I have noticed that the most common stretch or pose when I offer this at the end of my classes is happy baby. That's really, there's always someone, one or two people doing happy baby. I guess it's such a nice opportunity too, because I mean, it's not something we can do in our daily life, but it feels so good. It feels so good. So when you're ready, finishing your stretch out and then making yourself comfortable for Shavasana. So for today's relaxation session, I'm going to guide you through a progressive body relaxation like I always do. And then I'm going to leave you in quiet, in silence for a good few minutes with the theme of everything we've been practicing today, of just having some time to let go and to turn within and let go of needing to be anywhere or anything to anyone, taking this time to just let go. And I think part of what happens is that you can't necessarily expect any obvious or miraculous insights to come up right here, right now. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But this can initiate that process so that over the next 24 hours, few days, if you keep kind of operating with this intention, creating space throughout your day, engaging in maybe a japa meditation or just listening to mantra meditation, you might notice that things start to come more easily. You start to develop more clarity and more shifts in your perspective. So no, we're letting go of any expectations. We're also letting go of that, but we are making space for any insights, any goodness, letting go, trusting in the process of stillness, spaciousness, letting go. And getting nice and comfortable, feeling supported and grounded by the earth beneath you. And all you need to do is relax each body part as I mention it. Taking your awareness all the way down to the soles of your feet. Relax your toes, from your big toes to your little toes. Relax the soles of your feet, your inner arches, your outer arches. And feel your heels getting heavier and heavier. Relax your ankles. Soften into your calf muscles. And feel your shins to be heavy. Relax your knees. And all the muscles, tendons, tissues surrounding the knee joints. Relax your thighs, the tops of your thighs, your inner thighs and outer thighs. and your hamstrings. Relax your left hip and your right hip. And feel the sides of your torso melting down toward the floor. Relax into your pelvis. And feel all the vital organs resting in your pelvic girdle. Relaxing, releasing any unwanted tension or stress. Soften into your belly. And visualize that same letting go, relaxing through all your vital organs, resting in your abdominal region. Relax into your ribs and all the muscles in between each rib. Soften into your lungs. And soften into your heart center. I'm trying to release and let go in this area. And on a more subtle or spiritual level, maybe just taking a little moment of prayer here. Dear Lord, please help me to let go of any of the things that might be crusting over my heart. Helping me to let go of any of the things that are not serving me. And resting, relaxing through your collarbones, feeling them broadening and releasing. Relax the tops of your shoulders. Down into your shoulder blades. Relax your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, and your wrists and hands. Your fingers are gently curled. Become aware of the gentle prickling sensation of prana circulating your palms. Moving your awareness down to your lower back area. Feel your sacrum broadening and releasing. Relax your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, and your neck. Feel all the muscles either side of your spine softening and relaxing. Your head is getting heavier and heavier as it rests against the floor. Soften into your face and feel your eyes to be heavy. Relax into your temples. Relax your jaw. And soften into your mouth, leaving your lips softly touching. Your entire body is heavy and relaxed. You feel safe and warm and easily able to drop into a deep state of relaxation. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. Just taking this time for yourself, anchoring within. And if you do find that your mind wanders to the chatter or mind stuff that unconsciously and naturally streams through your mind, just without judgment, bringing your awareness back to your breath, turning within. Slowly starting to come back into your body. Wriggling your fingers and toes. Starting to stretch out into your limbs and rock your head from side to side. Rolling over onto your right side and taking some time for yourself there, just making a little cushion with your hands. Still taking that nice, slow, no rush pace. Pressing yourself up to sit. And we'll finish with a little kirtan. We'll start with the pranams. I'll sing them through once. And if you like, you can sing them through repeating them. So I will sing him through twice, but I'm hoping you'll join in for the second, the response. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Sindha Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Sindha Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namine Bhajashri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadeko Bhakta Vrinda Bhajashri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadeko Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Rama Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare Hare. Last time all together. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare Hare. Haribol. Now closing off our practice, bringing our hands together in prayer position and bowing our heads to each other, children of the Supreme, eternal sparks of the Supreme, and bowing our heads once more to offer our respects to the Supreme Soul. Namaste.